I think I'm in love with a straight girl. I think it happens to every lesbian at some point. Usually, throughout our lives, there is at least one inappropriate crush with a straight girl. And in this video, I'm going to go into why lesbians develop crushes on straight girls, and also what you can do if you do fall in love with a straight girl. So firstly, let's address the question of why do lesbians fall for straight girls? So one of the reasons that I think this is because as human beings, we just really like to conquer things, right? It's not just lesbians, it's just everybody. We're all just kind of like attracted to this mysterious notion of like conquering the unconquerable. As a human race, we've built spaceships to go to the moon. We've managed to conquer the 4-minute mile, which is basically running a mile in 4 minutes. You know, we've done some amazing things. We're always testing the boundaries. And I think this has a lot to do with why sometimes lesbians fall for straight girls. You know, it's just one of those things that it just seems, you know, can we push this? Can we overcome this? Can we get a straight girl to fall in love with us? You know, it's just one of those things. Also, it might be just the case of we accept the love that we feel like we deserve. And that's a quote from Perks of Being a Wallflower. I don't think it's the correct quote, but you know, sometimes we just go into things, we fall in love with people we can't get because we subconsciously want the rejection because we subconsciously think that's what we deserve. Sometimes we even do this consciously, you know. Depends how good your self-esteem is, right? And one of the things that I learned, you know, because I had inappropriate crushes growing up, and I feel like everybody does, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, right? It could be just like a student falling in love with a teacher, you know, or it could be falling in love with someone who's, you know, like your neighbor or something, someone who's like completely inappropriate to fall in love with. It's just something that happens, and I did as well. But when I developed my confidence and my self-esteem, I no longer started to have those inappropriate crushes because I decided that this was the love that I no longer found acceptable for me. Rejection was no longer acceptable for me. I wanted and I felt like I deserved to be in a loving relationship, which now thankfully I am, you know, and it took a lot of growing, it took a lot of learning to get to that point, right? It took a lot of self-development in order for me to actually feel worthy of proper human love from someone that actually was interested in me. And now I'm happily engaged to my beautiful fiance. The next thing why lesbians might fall in love with straight girls is it could be just avoiding the responsibility of having a proper relationship altogether. Sometimes the fantasy is much more appealing to us than the actual relationship. Sometimes we delude ourselves into thinking that our fantasies are better than real life. But if you do want a proper connection with someone, you need to stop avoiding that responsibility, because, you know, relationships aren't what they are like in the movies. You know, relationships hardly match up to our fantasies. Relationships are real. Sometimes it's really hard to maintain them. It's hard to have a healthy relationship. It's hard to keep the happiness and the magic alive in a relationship. A real relationship can be hard work, and you need to keep on working at it. Because if you don't keep on working at your relationship, you're eventually going to lose your relationship. What you work on and what you keep on maintaining and growing keeps on growing, but what you neglect and forget to take care of, it slowly starts to die. And the same goes with our relationships. And sometimes us lesbians, or it could be anyone actually, we just decide that responsibility is too much and I'd rather get hung up on a fantasy that's never going to happen. Another reasons why lesbians fall in love with straight girls is that the romantic notion of falling in love with someone who doesn't accept our feelings can be quite a romantic notion, right? It can be something that seems so lovely and so honorable and have so much integrity and virtuous, but it's not. What's really virtuous is having the self-respect to go for the relationship that we deserve. And the relationship that we deserve is one that is healthy, with someone that loves us, with someone that is attracted to us. That's the relationship you have to strive for. There's nothing romantic about moping around, being in love with someone that doesn't love you. It may seem like that in the movies, on TV shows, in music, but in reality, people just want you to get it together kind of thing. Even though real relationships are hard, they are actually the most rewarding. So there are some of my ideas on why I think lesbians tend to fall in love with straight girls. But yeah, we've all been there, and now I'm going to go into some things about what you could actually do if you are in love with a straight girl, and what, how can you get over this? What are some things that you could possibly do to make this situation better for you? So of course, the best way to get over a straight girl is to actually go out on dates with girls that are actually gay. Go out on dates with lesbians. Because trust me, the real thing is so much better than a fantasy. So another thing you can do if you're in love with a straight girl is you can perhaps channel that emotion and those feelings into something creative, or into something that can, help push you further towards your life, like your personal development. This is something that I discovered growing up. I felt much more creative when I was in love with someone. And when I was a teenager, I'd fall in love with, really inappropriate people that I couldn't be with. But I channeled that into writing, I channeled it into creativity, until I actually found a girl that wanted to be with me. So take that energy and transmute it into something that can really help you and benefit your future. The third thing that you should do if you're in love with a straight girl is perhaps remove them from social media, so you don't get tempted to stalk them or look at their pictures, or getting tempted to message them. Especially if this is a hard crush that you're going through and you don't think that you can, restrain yourself from, diving back into those obsessive emotions, right? You need to detach yourself from the situation and focus on other things. And if blocking them on social media, or just, going cold turkey on social media for a while, if that is what helps you, then go for it, right? Because you need to detox yourself from these toxic emotions. A thing that you could do that, could give you a bit of help if you're in love with a straight girl is perhaps maybe, if you're brave enough to tell her how you feel, because perhaps, this isn't a delusion, perhaps she does actually like you back. So she might be bisexual or something. So let her know how you feel if you're brave enough, because there might be something there. She might be bisexual. She might not be as straight as you think. Especially if you're young, because when you're young, you don't fully know yourself yet. So there is a chance that she could be bisexual. So perhaps tell her how you feel and then see how she responds. But the next point I want to go into, and the last point I want to go into, is that if you're in love with a straight girl and you tell her that you're in love with her and she says that she doesn't feel the same way, you need to leave her alone. So you don't message her anymore. Perhaps, like I said, remove her off social media, do any of those things, and just remove yourself from the situation, because you really need to understand that no means no, and there's no point being hung up on a girl that has no interest in you, especially if you've said you're interested in her and she says no. Think of it this way, right? You would hope that if you told a straight man that you're a lesbian, right, that they would leave you alone. There's no difference here, okay? You want to not push someone that's not in love with you, that's not interested in you. So make sure that you keep all of these things in mind. If you need help with talking to girls, dating skills, make sure that you subscribe and watch some of my older videos, because I go into much detail about those kinds of topics that can really help with your dating. And those are the things that I've learned that have also helped me stop myself from having inappropriate crushes. Sometimes it is a learning curve. You need to actually learn how to date, learn how to pick up, learn how to have proper self-esteem so you can stop yourself from having inappropriate crushes, and to give you self-respect. Also, if you'd like help with me personally, then please head over to www.christineloveridge.com/shop and I can help you with your personal situations. Please like and comment and subscribe to help my channel, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.